Today's forum, we will have two sessions. The first session, which begins at 4 p.m., is 3 candidates running for secretary. Our 3 candidates are Joe Bernat, Suzanne Kaebnick, and Uzo Usono. Okay, and we'll start with opening statements. The way that the forum will work is you have a 5-minute presentation, a 5-minute opening, followed by 3-minute responses to the question and a 2-minute closing. So now we'll have Joe Bernat do his opening.
Thank you very much to the members of the NCCFT for attending, and thank you to the election committee for allowing us the opportunity to have this forum. During my time at NCC, I've worked to develop a level of collegiality and trust among members, listening to all perspectives and finding solutions. If elected secretary of the NCCFT, I will bring the same level of consistency and commitment to that role as I have displayed in my service to other committees and responsibilities. The secretary is charged in the Constitution and bylaws with keeping records of meetings of the executive board, executive committee, and general membership meetings. Additionally, all officers of the NCCFT are elected to represent the members as delegates at state and national affiliate meetings. I will faithfully fulfill these responsibilities and work collaboratively with the other officers to ensure the rights of members are upheld. As a mathematician, I have sharp attention to detail and will ensure that our union's policies and procedures are adhered to. The recording and maintaining of minutes will be handled diligently and promptly. I have years of experience in maintaining minutes and keeping records on college-wide committees, as both chair and secretary of the SUNY Chancellor's Award Committee, and as secretary of the Scholarship Awards and Student Aid Committee, as secretary, lieutenant, and captain for my local fire department, and as an executive board member for the Math, Computer Science, and Information Technology Department, by disseminating information to my constituents to keep all members informed and engaged in the union. I've also served the members of the NCCFT as chair of the Constitution and Bylaws Committee for the last 3 years, and under my direction, we ratified the Constitution last year and are currently working to update the bylaws to reflect the current needs. I have seen firsthand that record keeping is crucial to any organization. This is how the history is recorded, and it ensures transparency among officers and members alike. When questions arise, it is important to have access to the previous decisions. I'm the type of person who likes to have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. In addition to open communication and transparency, I am deeply committed to fairness and equity as well. Unionism is built upon the foundational principle of equitable treatment of all. If someone needs help, I help them, following all of the appropriate protocols of my position. My experience as a firefighter for 15 years has taught me to be goal-oriented and to keep my composure in high-pressure situations. I know how to identify a problem and work with others to develop plans and backup plans to achieve the desired outcome. As an officer of my local fire company, I have continued to advocate for our department members by requesting necessary tools and creating training opportunities. It is paramount to my success as captain, but far more importantly to the success, health, and safety of our company and entire community, that I remain attentive to the needs of all and work collaboratively within the organizational structure of the department. I've long involved myself in the life of the college and community, serving in leadership roles on college-wide committees. My involvement is consistently predicated on being fair, equitable, and truly representative of member voices. I look forward to the challenge and opportunity that comes with being a union officer, and I hope to have your support for the upcoming election. Thank you very much.
Should I go ahead now? Okay, thank you. I appreciate the Elections Committee arranging this forum during this busy time of the semester. And I also want to thank all the members who have taken the time to join us or who will be watching the forum later. Thank you. I'm running for secretary because we need a proactive, unified, hardworking executive committee to effectively approach the many challenges we face. I'm excited to see President Simonoff bringing to the table creative strategies. I want to do what I can as secretary to assist in carrying them out. I'm a strong writer, and as secretary, much of my work will need those skills. In addition to taking minutes at all meetings, the secretary has come to have a major role in expressing the executive committee's communications via the NCCFT blog. This often involves research, textual analysis of texts, skill in conveying complex subject matter in clear and understandable language. My analytical and writing skills will also have a part to play in the contract negotiation process. The secretary's key role is to listen carefully, take notes during negotiating meetings, and create summaries that help the team plan their work. This involves judgment calls regarding what details to include, what to emphasize, and rhetorical skills to clearly convey them. I'm an independent, creative thinker and will bring these perspectives to the executive committee. For instance, in the English department, after conversations with faculty in nursing, allied health, and the natural sciences, convinced me that it would be a good idea to have an alternative second semester composition course, one focusing on the natural sciences as opposed to literature. I brought the idea to our chair, Bruce Urquhart, who became a strong supporter. I worked with other faculty in developing it, and I'm happy to say English 103 is now quite successful. I also introduced the idea of an AA degree in English. I felt it would be good for the department and our students. Other faculty in our chair became excited, and right now, I'm co-chairing the curriculum committee with Gina Sipley, who we expect to be the coordinator of the AA degree program beginning in the spring. I have a track record of independent creative thinking and successful collaboration with others. Two suggestions that I have right now for our union are, one, I'd like to see regular reporting from committee chairs at the executive board meetings. I think it would be helpful to the board, might increase general membership participation in committees, and would facilitate committee work. Two, I'd like to encourage the executive committee to develop a diversity committee, a move that Alana has suggested for some time. A diversity committee could potentially help in creating the Latin American Studies project into a program and support NCC becoming officially recognized as a Hispanic serving institution. If elected, I look forward to bringing my skills to support all the officers of the executive committee in their work. Thank you.
My turn. Uzo Suno. I teach in the math and computer science department. So as the secretary of this committee, first of all, thank you for letting us join you this evening because I almost didn't make it to the forum. So thank you for letting me participate. I really do appreciate that. So I've worked very closely with the executive committee here at Nassau Community College, both this current committee and the previous one for about 6 years. I've been a secretary to executive committees nationwide and statewide, directly with the governor. And as a secretary to an executive committee, yes, record keeping is very important because huge amounts of information flow through the office. And one needs to keep tabs on all this information, not just in paper files, but most of these things need to be digitized and easily accessible. So what I would like to bring to the committee is the ability to amass huge amounts of information and synthesize it into a form that people can understand and communicate with the members at large as well. I've represented this college nationwide and statewide, both with members of this present committee and the prior ones, at various legislative sessions, in the president's office, this president's office, as well as the prior president's office with local legislatures. We've screened every candidate running for office in a bipartisan way that helps support our contracts. And our contracts have passed in the past few years because of our strong support legislatively. So I've done all of that unofficially, even though I was a member of the executive committee, but I participated in most of that as a PAC chair and as a member of the PAC as well. So I believe in representation, not just on campus, but amongst our legislative personnel, as well as in the community college network at large. I attended, and I still attend multiple conferences all over the state on behalf of this college. So what would I bring to the table? The ability to analyze and amass huge amounts of information from disparate sources and synthesize it in a form that could be well understood and be used for decision making. And that would help support the committee at large. Thank you very much. I'll be vote for me.
Okay, thank you. The first question is in order, Suzanne and Uzo and Joe, respectively. Number one, what union experience have you had and for how long have you been involved with the union?
Okay, thank you. So last year I joined as alternate And this year I'm serving as representative of the English department on the executive board. It's my second year on the Constitution and Bylaws Committee. I've been active there in several subcommittees. I joined this committee because the urgency of clarifying language regarding elections became quite clear during the 2020 campaign. Perhaps most glaring was the lack of language regarding how to hold elections electronically with Election Buddy, which the union began doing in about 2015 or 16. We also need to present clear language for the Bylaws Committee, the Elections Committee, and the Membership Early Career Committee as standing committees in the bylaws. All three were included in the Constitution ratified in October of 2020, but are not described in the bylaws. How many members are on the committee, how they are elected, how the election committee works with the tellers committee are among points that need clarity. Language needs to be clear and consistent throughout the bylaws, but also with the Constitution and with the Landrum-Griffin Act. In fact, I think it would be a good idea to hire a parliamentarian or lawyer just to make sure that our language regarding elections is in keeping with the Landrum-Griffin Act. We also need to clarify the staggering of terms for the officers as planned to begin in the next election. I think that Joe would like to revise the bylaws as a whole, taking time to examine other colleges' bylaws, and I think that's a great idea. However, there are some changes that need to be done right away, definitely in advance of the next elections. These changes we need to make as singular amendments, even while we continue to work on improving the document as a whole. Another NCCFT committee that I'm on is the Political Action Committee. I joined after Farron Sivanoff became president. In fact, one of the first things she did upon becoming president was to reinvigorate this important committee. It's important not just with our elected officials in Albany, but also with Nassau County officials and community organizations in Nassau County. We might also consider working with the AFA, the CSEA, and the Student Government Association, and in fact, the Suffolk Community College Faculty Union. We need more support from the county for the college's operating budget, and we need more support from the Board of Trustees. The Political Action Committee can be a part of the strategy.
Time.
Thank you.
Sorry. Okay, Joe?
I thought you said Uzo was second.
Yes, she is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Uzo, thank you.
Discussing our union experience. Well, I've been here about 6 years at the college campus. Right from the very first month that I joined this college 6 years ago, from the first month, I was part of the promotional community focused video that was created to sort of advertise the college to our community at large as part of that promotional video. And from that very first month, I was very active in all union activities, usually in support of the executive committee. Running to Albany multiple times a year on my own dime, well, my own time as a non-executive member, Saratoga, Cooperstown, all over the place, advocating for this college, meetings in the president's office, college presidents, this president, the previous president, meeting with multiple legislators, and prior to each election, screening them to make sure that in a bipartisan way, that whoever gets in office will support our contract, and they did. So seeing them locally, not just waiting for when we need their help to look for them, inviting them on campus on various occasions, and they would come. Our recent county executive, Laura Karam, was a good friend of our college before she finally got elected. So getting to know them, not just our local legislators locally, Albany level, state level, and also members of the community college as a whole. Lots and lots of meetings, lots and lots in the snow. I remember multiple times, you're going to be Christine the next hour, multiple trips to Albany, just she ironed on, driving in the snow, meeting people face to face on behalf of us, our budgets to be passed and all the rest of it, so that when the time comes to vote, they always voted for us because of that established relationship. So we hope to expand that with more people now finally joining. It's nice how people all say they want to join the pack, and when it's time to work, 3 people show up, same people showing up, running around the town. So hopefully as time goes on, we're going to build that pack one way or the other and make it more and more active. But I'm very glad that we did lots of work with the, like I said, president level, college level presidents, this one, county-wide executives, statewide executives. And what else have we done? Advocating for NCCFT amongst the community at large, and getting figures, because you can't make decisions without figures. I just came back from a recent college conference in Saratoga with Dawn and Richard. Got lots of numbers from the presenting bodies, which I brought back to Farran on campus, which hopefully will help us make some decisions as we go forward, because we can only make decisions based on data, what we know, which is what I hope to bring to this position. Lots of data analysis, networking with people at large, getting all that information and distilling it to a point where we can actually read the actual report, know what we're dealing with, and make proper decisions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was elected as the Math, Computer Science, and Information Technology Executive Board Representative starting in fall of 2017, and have maintained this position since then. In this capacity, I started a tradition of communication by sending notes from the executive board meetings to the full-time faculty in the department after every meeting. This keeps the membership informed of the current activities of the NCCFT and involved in the union. Additionally, I've attended the NYSUT Community College Conference, which is an annual statewide conference for all NYSUT affiliates to discuss issues, solutions, and other pressing union matters twice. In 2016, I attended a NYSUT leadership conference focused on assisting members who plan to transition to leadership positions at their locals. I'm also a member of the Political Action Committee and have participated in NYSUT phone banks and the Higher Education Advocacy Day in Albany. I have chaired the Constitution and Bylaws Committee of the NCCFT since the fall of 2018. In this position, I have closely worked with the executive committee members and all 4 presidents who have held the position during that time. This opportunity has allowed me to analyze our current documents and become familiar with the policies stipulated in both the Constitution and the bylaws. During the fall 2020 semester, I presented an updated Constitution to the NCCFT membership, and it was ratified. Afterwards, the executive committee charged the Constitution and Bylaws Committee to update the bylaws, and the membership of the committee was increased to 11. Currently, there are 15 members on the committee, and in order for us to work efficiently, I created 6 subcommittees and appointed subcommittee chairs to draft the language for each article or task they were assigned. This structure has allowed the smaller groups of members to work on specific articles under the leadership of subcommittee chairs. This allows the members of the committee to take on a leadership role and an opportunity to oversee the changes that they believe in strongly. Prior to working at NCC, I've held many positions, most of which were non-union, and I appreciate the protections that our union affords us and will continue to work diligently to support the NCCFT in whatever capacity I am able to. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The answers will be given in this order. Second question, Uzo and Joe, and then Suzanne. What skills and experiences qualify you as the secretary for the NCCFT position?
I've been on computer science and data science for over decades, and I'm able to create decision-making systems that can actually track information and present it in a way that you can actually make sense of it and make decisions on it. So I bring that skill to the table. Also, there will be communication involved, communicating with the members at large and the community at large. So there's a social media presence, there's a blog, all that has to be maintained and kept updated and accurate. Also networking, because there's a big body of community college minded people, and there's a big body out there. And we do lots of networking, not just locally on Long Island, but statewide at all levels. I bring that skill to the table. I used to be the secretary of the Georgia State Multicultural Advisory Committee to the governor, direct access to the governor on statewide issues. I worked with the Secretary of State in Georgia. I worked with the Labor Commissioner. All my candidates won. I was in direct contact with them because you got a network. That's where you get all the get the influence. When you do have a problem, you have people to talk to, you have people to advise. You have people that would work on your problem because you've networked. So what we've done for the past 6 years is active networking, not just locally, but at the state level. And hopefully we get to the, we got to national level in this regard. But networking, so in summary, the ability to analyze information and distill down to a point where you can make decisions. I used to be a technical writer where after making my systems, I'll create technical manuals for the technical minded and non-technical for the non-technical minded. So I am able to write technically and produce information that could be used. I do have the ability to analyze the data and distill it into reports you can actually use and understand. And then the ability to network at all levels and advocate for your personnel. One thing the NCCFT Executive Committee does is, other than their committee work, they advocate for faculty members when they get into situations that they need advocacy for. So that also would be a skill that one would have to have as one goes forward with this. Thank you.
So I have served as secretary in multiple organizations over the past several years. Currently, I am serving as the secretary of the Scholarship Awards and Student Aid Committee and have served in this position since being elected in September 2019. During my time as secretary, I've worked closely with the chair to disseminate the agenda for each meeting and have kept diligent records of our meetings, uploading the approved documents to the Academic Senate OneDrive folder. Prior to this, I served as both the chair and secretary of the SUNY Chances Award Committee at NCC. When I was elected chair, there was no policy manual as the prior chair retired and kept all relevant documents. The committee spent much of that year researching the SUNY policies, and I chaired the group tasked with creating a 35-page procedure manual for all to follow. Also, the committee updated the nomination process with the assistance of IT so that students can nominate faculty for teaching excellence as stipulated in the SUNY policy manual. Through this research, the committee realized that SUNY also offers adjunct awards that were never offered at NCC. I met with the president of the AFA to work on guidelines and policies for these awards to follow. In addition to these campus-wide positions, I was also elected by my local fire department to serve as secretary of my company from January 2013 to December 2016. In this capacity, I worked with 2 different captains and executive committees and also served on the committee to update the bylaws of my company. In addition to holding this position of secretary, I have since been elected to the rank of lieutenant and currently serve as captain of my company. As an elected officer, I have been entrusted with ensuring that the health and safety of the members of my department are top priority, while also working collaboratively with other officers and members to find solutions to complex problems in high-stress situations. As a member of a leadership team, I have learned the importance of working collaboratively with other officers. It is vital to understand that each officer brings their own strengths, and effective leaders need to work collaboratively to learn how to assist each other to support the members that we are elected to serve.
Okay. So in addition to chairing the curriculum committee in English for several years and working on a SUNY-wide committee to develop the transfer path in English, I've served as chair of the Academic Senate Student Activities Committee and several busy subcommittees in the college-wide curriculum committee. My knowledge of curriculum issues will definitely be an asset to work on the executive committee. My service as secretary of the Academic Senate Planning Committee during the presidency of ASTRAB is important to note, as that minute-taking required attention to nuance. In professional practices, the committee was devoted to the work of revising discipline procedures, and I not only kept minutes, but also the draft of our revisions. That work about NCC disciplinary procedure is also helpful background for serving on the executive committee. My work in these academic senate roles was respected. Indeed, it was that work which led to my acquaintance with President Siminoff, who encouraged me to run in the 2020 elections. The campaign was a great experience. I came to know our members and their needs much better. A friend joked that I should tell you that I'm from English and I can use lots of big words. Yes, I can do that, but I'm not sure it's always the best choice. I promise you that I will not be wordy. The English department teaches students to express themselves clearly, precisely, and to the point, and that will be my aim. I enjoy the challenges of research and articulating complex thought. I know the executive committee will keep me happily busy in those departments, particularly with the NCCFT blog. I would like to build on some ideas that Richard Newman presented this fall in order to create a fuller vehicle of communication outside the college email system. Finally, I think my knowledge regarding different communities in the US may be of assistance in my doctoral dissertation, in my teaching of courses such as Latino studies, Native American literature, children's literature, modern American literature, and finally in my personal life. A consistent theme is creating understanding across ethnic groups. Part of my vision for NCC is that it become recognized as a Hispanic serving institution. Doing so would benefit a wider swath than that 33% of students who identify as Hispanic. It would help us address the needs of all low-income students and, in fact, would help in developing sensitivity for cultural difference generally. I'm very sorry to see the dissolution of LINC. It has been a tremendous resource, and its closure as of the end of this semester, I think, will make it harder to win HSI status for NCC. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the next question, answers will be given in this order: Joe, Suzanne, and Uzo. So question 3, and this will be the last question. How will you work collaboratively with the current NCCFT president and officers?
Thank you. This is a great question. The duty of the officers is complex and requires collaboration and communication. To ensure successful outcomes, collaboration is key, as the officers need to work towards a unified goal. Having served in the positions on campus, in the union, and in my community, I've worked with diverse groups of people with varied perspectives. Being an officer requires the ability to listen to one another, to listen with attention, and to be open to hearing multiple perspectives. Recognizing others' strengths and the skills that each member brings to the team to accomplish each goal is the key to a successful team. While at a fire scene, I know that the only way to accomplish any goal is by relying on the strengths and abilities of others to accomplish their specific tasks. I see the officers on the executive committee as a close-knit team, with each member bringing a specific skill set and unique perspective. It is crucial that the officers work as a unified team to accomplish each goal, no matter how big or small. Each officer is elected to represent the membership and uphold the contract, and I am mindful of this each time I engage in union work. I've learned to communicate respectfully, collaborate effectively, and maintain a focus on what's best for stakeholders, whether that's my fellow colleagues, citizens, and fellow firefighters, or the members of the NCCFT. I'm currently working with the Executive Committee on the NCCFT in my role as Chair of the Constitution and Bylaws Committee, and maintain frequent communication with President Siminoff. I have also maintained a close working relationship amongst the subcommittee chairs of this committee and others on campus, as already discussed. I'm also on the executive board of the New York State Math Association for two-year colleges, and have worked with colleagues from around the state on multiple conference coordinating teams and co-organized a remote teaching resource document for use by instructors from around the state in response to the COVID-19 closures of SUNY campuses. These resources are intended to assist faculty with the transition to remote instruction with tips, techniques, and technology. I have years of leadership experience serving in various capacities in multiple organizations, and I will bring the skills I learned with me to the position if elected.
Am I next, Catherine? Wasn't quite sure. Yes. Okay. So how will I work collaboratively? The secretary should be someone the other officers can work well with. I've worked with Farron Siminoff before, so I know I can work well with her. Quite immediately, if elected, I will work with other officers to prepare for our negotiating our contract. I will meet with members across the campus to hear their concerns and their wish lists. Some things I've heard so far: our contract needs a complete revisiting. There's a lot of contract language that's outdated and does not reflect, for example, our current use of technologies. Members need protection against overwhelming workloads. We need to address the workload of our chairs, release time, and non-classroom faculty workloads that are unreasonably stretching beyond the workday. We need to improve compensation and benefits. Wages have had minimal increases in the last decade. We want to maintain our health insurance and include members who were hired post-2014 in better plans. We need to rebuild our membership with replacement lines, particularly with an eye to departments insufficiently staffed for their degrees, charges, and students. Second, I will assist the other officers in addressing health and safety issues on campus. My writing skills will be useful here in the areas of collecting and disseminating information. For instance, when membership is asked to fill out a survey on the health and safety conditions of their workplaces, I'll work on creating clear wording in the survey. When we need to convey information to the general membership, I'll focus on making sure that it's worded in the most understandable way. Some of our health and safety issues include a ventilation system in the cluster buildings that's conducive to mold and doesn't have a good exchange of outside and inside air, computer labs that have insufficient exchange of air, frequent flooding in some buildings when it rains. The COVID pandemic has brought new urgency to some of these concerns. Fortunately, the federal government made CARES money available, which can be used. Unfortunately, the money had not yet been used as of the Board of Trustees meeting of November 16th, when it was announced that NCC had $28 million of unspent CARES money. In addition to fixing the above-named issues, NCC could install HEPA air filters, as New York City schools have done. Third, I will work with the rest of the executive officers to protect members against disciplinary procedures that violate the contract. I believe that protecting tenure is an essential part of protecting members from arbitrary and capricious treatment.
I'll just read in the comments. Yes, I was 4 minutes late in my submission, so it was my fault. Anyway, the reason why I think I'll make a good addition to this committee is this. How would I work with the existing committee? I'm used to working with a diverse group. I've lived on 3 continents. I'm used to talking to mixing different cultures. All the schools I ever attended were international schools. I currently serve on the Hofstra's President's Blue Ribbon Committee, where we're reviewing different educational and observational standards. I've always worked with a diverse group. When I was in Georgia, I was the secretary of the Multicultural Advisory Committee to the governor, working with the entire state, different nationalities, different races. So I'm used to working with diverse groups. So I'm sure I'll work with every single member of the executive committee. Even with the past one, I had a special relationship with every single member of the past executive committee. And I was able to work with each one differently, working on different projects, both locally and statewide. So I will be able to work. I like diversity. I think the more diverse the views, the stronger the team, I think. And I think we can all serve with respect to the goal as opposed to individual personalities. And also, even as a PAC chair, I've been one for the 3 years now on campus. We're proud to say we're a bipartisan group. It's not about the party affiliations. It's all about the values, the issues, what's going to work for this community. So I think at the end of the day, let's put that as our objective. What's best for NCCFT? What's best for the faculty at large? What's best for the body of the college body? And that should be our focus. And with that in mind, there's nothing we couldn't accomplish.
Okay, thank you. Now the closing statements. And this will be given in this order: Joe, Suzanne, and Uzo.
Thank you very much. As a union, we face difficult situations in our immediate future. There is a nationwide, privately funded group of people who want to reduce the effectiveness of our and every union. The only way we will maintain our strength into the future is through a unified approach. You deserve someone on the executive committee who is a level-headed and independent thinker with a strong moral character, someone who is unafraid to represent your interests and ask the tough questions when they need to be asked to generate better solutions. Someone who will work collaboratively with the officers and members of the NCCFT to achieve the goal of supporting every member of the collective bargaining unit. I am that person. I look forward to the challenge and opportunity that comes with being a union officer, and I hope to have your support during the upcoming election. Have a great night and a happy holiday season.
One advantage that I would have as a secretary is that I'm a full professor. I'm no longer running for any promotions. This gives me a certain amount of independence that junior faculty don't have. I want to do this work because I believe in our union, I believe in unions, I believe in our union. I believe that we can improve our contract. I believe that like many of you clearly did, that President Semino's skills as our union president are a great opportunity. I share her vision and I will support her in carrying them out. I'm ready to put my shoulder to the oar, and I hope some of you are too, if only for an hour a month. Let's work to change what we can for a stronger, better future for our students, for the college, for the union. My thanks again to the Elections Committee for planning and hosting this forum. And thank you to everyone who's attended. And thank you for those who are watching later. Good night. Thanks.
Thank you for letting me join you, everybody on the forum today. I was 4 minutes late in bringing in my petition, so I am a write-in candidate. So I'd appreciate it if you would vote for me as a write-in candidate. You've got to write my name in. Thank you for that. Also, thank you for giving me a chance to introduce myself to the community at large. And I've been doing this informally for 6 years, from the day I started working at NCCFT. So it's been informal. So working with everybody, working with every single member of the executive committee, working with the president's office, working with everybody, just representing NCCFT at large. It's all about the college. It's not a personal thing. I've spent my own personal business days going on conferences, both here in Albany, in the snow. The last time I went to Albany, we literally counted 14 accidents driving back from Albany in the snow on my own personal business time. So it's all about really the college at large. We know that we have a deficit in our population. We want to grow that. We want to increase obviously our salary rates and all the rest of it. Some departments are lacking faculty lines. There's advocacy needed amongst our legislators and the community at large. So anywhere I could help, I really would love to do that. I have done so with the previous committee. I'm willing to do so with the current one in any which way I can help. Thank you. I am a writing candidate. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So the VP, this will be a VP Classroom Faculty Forum will start at 5:30 p.m. So Vandora, would you like to end this and then come back, or how do you like to do